I apologize for this setup. I've got some external speakers here. Since Friday I've had some issues, technical issues, so I'm going to be doing it this way because my screenshot's not picking up external noises for some reason. The videos that I made over the weekend, the audio is very quiet. I have to use earphones. I apologize for that. However, I have external speakers hooked up and you should be able to hear it just fine. So this is my tap for number 4 EIPA, secondary schooling, high school student. Okay, just completed the tap, and now we're going to go ahead and see about doing this interpretation.
Thanks for telling me about the vacation. It sounds like a really cool experience. Tell me about your family, okay?
My mom just recently married again. I have only one sister and one brother. And my sister is deaf like me. And my mom and dad are both hearing. They can sign, but not real skilled. And sometimes I'll tell them how to correctly sign. And they sign a little bit. Sometimes I have to help them a little bit with right signs for like a correct word that they're looking for. Okay, on that last interpretation, I noticed that I believe that she said the brother was deaf. So there was a little misunderstanding there. I think that this was beginning, and like I said, I was having some technical issues, so there was interpersonal things going on there. So just reviewing it, I see where I was taking the information and trying to decode it, and also thinking about possibly my audio wasn't working correct, which I was right. However, it affected my overall interpretation of this particular segment.
Oh, wow! You have a deaf sister? I guess you really like having someone so close just to chat with, huh?
I do like having a deaf sister, but you know, hearing sister is fine too. All right, hearing is fine. We talk about a very diverse set of things, a lot of things, and we just have a really good time. So on that segment, I noticed that, again, I was decoding the information, trying to unwrap it. I think that in that process, I might have lost some of the meaning in what she was saying. So yeah, but anyway, I was just watching that. So now let's move forward.
That's great! What about pets? Do you have any animals at home?
I have one pet. It's a dog. That seemed nearly perfect. Lag time.
A dog? Dogs can be so much fun. How long have you had it? What's it look like?
Oh, let me think. I don't really remember how long I've had the dog. But it's a medium-sized dog. It's big for its kind. It's tan in color, but it's like dark tan. It's cute. It's a really cute dog. I guess it's kind of small. Name is Spock. I think she said has spots. And she didn't say it had spots. However, again, I was wondering about my sound, because I didn't see the bars going across showing me that the sound was coming in, and I was wondering about that. And so again, I'm taking the information in, I'm watching her. I think that I did a pretty good job of expressing what she intended to say on the one part where she said, I can't really remember, like when I was saying and because she was trying to think, and then she revealed what she was thinking about is that she couldn't remember actually when she got the dog. So
Spock, how in the world did your dog get a name like that?
Well, his ears are kind of pointed, kind of like the guy on Star Trek. So his ears resemble that, so he gets that name. Dad's the one who watches Star Trek all the time. I rarely watch it. Sometimes I do.
That's cute. So, Sabrina, what do you do in your spare time? Do you have any hobbies or school activities you enjoy?
I like crafts and drawing. I don't really do art a lot, but crafts, there's a variety of craft things I like braiding, creative things. I guess like creating things, like I might paint a can, or I also love volleyball and cheerleading.
that particular sign for volleyball, during my tap, I noticed that was a new sign for volleyball for me. Not the typical one that I see. I think the one that I've seen is almost like hands open, kind of above for volleyball. So it was a good variety to learn.
Oh, tell me more about the cheerleading. How did you get involved in that? Does it require a lot of time?
Cheerleading practice at a couple weeks before I try out, so I made it. The first time that I tried out, I didn't make it, and then later on down, someone quit or got kicked out, and then I was able to make it into the team. And cheerleading doesn't really travel a lot, except for GVD, which stands for Great Plains School for the Deaf.
Okay, I noticed that in that segment, after she was signing, I was watching her expression. I was also thinking about, there was somebody standing at the window of the room where I was recording, so I was trying really hard not to look over there and divert my attention from her. However, when she signed 1 week before, they practice 1 week before trials for trying out for cheerleading, I wasn't sure. I voiced 2 weeks, a couple weeks or something. So, and I believe that may have been a result of my diverted, attention, my interpersonal processes of somebody staring through the window.
I take it you like cheerleading.
I really love cheerleading, and I love to support the school. So I like to have something to do. If I'm not playing basketball, at least I'll have cheerleading or something to do.
And in that segment, I noticed that she said, you know, I don't play basketball, so wanted something to do, and cheerleading seemed to be the thing.
Your school spirit is great. How long have you been cheerleading?
Last year will be my second year, and next year I'll be doing it my second year, and I already know that I'm going to be in it next year because they've already selected for the team for next year, and I made it.
Congratulations on making it again. How many people are on your school squad?
My school has 16 cheerleaders. There's a limit. And we also, that's including one mascot.
Oh yeah? Describe your mascot.
It's a big cat, tannish color, I think, and black spots maybe.
I think that was pretty good match for her expression. She was trying to remember what the mascot looked like, and I thought that was pretty effective.
I'll bet that costume gets pretty hot. Let's talk about the academic side of school. What's your favorite class?
My favorite class at school, let me see, maybe English. I love writing and also love reading books. I have many favorite books. I kind of like the genre of scary books, like Goosebumps. I like that kind of books.
Oh yeah, I've heard lots of good comments on that series. Who's the author?
R.L. Tiley. He's the author of that series of Goosebumps books.
And I think that she may have signed Styles or something. So R.L. Styles. Yeah, I think overall that was a good segment. I might have missed a little bit of that finger spelling. I know that I'm tired. Got a big weekend coming up. So there are some things going on interpersonally. And again, I was all through this video, I was looking to see if the audio was working, and I was wondering if it was working. So that was another thing, a process that was going on that may have affected my effectiveness.
I'm glad you enjoy that series. Do you have a favorite teacher?
Favorite teacher? Let's see. I don't really have a favorite teacher, but my favorite teacher is not actually my teacher. She's actually in a different class.
I noticed there it was interesting. I assigned a gender. However, I don't think she really specified male or female, and I kind of added the information female, she. So that's interesting.
It's okay if you don't have a class with that teacher this year. Tell me why it's your favorite teacher anyway.
I think that's my favorite teacher because really good at helping with solving problems. If I have a problem with someone, I can meet with that person and resolve the issue, like my mom.
problem solving is so important. How do you feel about your life in general? Have you had to deal with many problems?
I think my life is really positive thus far. Growing up, it's been positive. It doesn't matter. I'm poor, but we just went through it. Been happy, so.
It's 8 o'clock.
Sorry about that.
Wow, Sabrina, you certainly have an optimistic outlook on life. That will help you get through lots of tough obstacles. What about work? Tell me about your summer job experience.
Last summer I worked at CSD Communication Services for the Deaf. I really loved that job. It was just something I really enjoyed. I don't work in that area anymore because I work through JSPD. It's better than nothing.
What kinds of work did you do?
CSD, I worked as an intern. It was almost like an intern. I was helping other workers, assisting them, asking them if there's anything I can do, and they would tell me what to do, and I would go help them in any way I could, such as filing and typing, making labels for files, some computer work, not often, but it was something I did.
That sounds like a really great experience. What about the people you worked with? Tell me about them.
I worked with deaf people, and there was an interpreter there as well. Worked with one deaf woman named on the telephone, communication for the phone.
Okay, so wasn't really sure about that segment. Again, I was trying to unwrap or trying to decode what she was saying, and I'm just not sure that it was all there, especially the interpreter was used for the telephone. I wasn't sure if she was saying the interpreter was used for the telephone, or sometimes she worked with an interpreter on the telephone. Anyway, that was one part that I was confused at.
So do you hope to work with deaf people in the future? Or do you plan to work with hearing people?
In the future, I hope to work with deaf and hearing. Oh, but I'm not sure. I'd like to work independently, and I'm not really sure what population I'll work with. But I'd like to do more graphic work with computers.
Oh, really? Why are you interested in graphic arts?
And I noticed that graphic arts was what she was signing, and it wasn't coming up to my mind. My elk isn't quite developed in that area, I guess, and now I know that that sign, computer art, is graphic arts.
I just love computers and graphic arts and all the things you can do, artistic things. I just love that.
Great! Have you designed those materials yourself?
Pamphlets, I haven't really done that so far. Brochures. I've never made one, but I think I can. I'll possibly try it in the future. I've made a calendar before. It really seems simple. just have to create the background and then put the information in there. You use a clear screen like PageMaker, or you can use Photoshop, or whatever you want to format it.
Sabrina, you are quite a remarkable young lady. You're involved in many activities, you have an optimistic attitude, and you have some clear goals for your future. Do you have a role model who's helped shape your life?
I don't really have a role model, but I can think of one that's my father and my sister and my friends.
Right there I noticed that when she signed everyone, I was watching her. I'm not really sure, but she said she saw, everyone as a role model, which was an interesting answer, and kind of messed that up. But I think that what was happening in my mind is that I was watching her expression. Like I said, her style is very different, and so the everyone, the everyone just maybe it was anyone. She said she didn't say anyone was one role model, but she starts mentioning her mom and all these people in her life.
What an interesting response.
So I was trying to self-correct there and really was trying to use closing skills. Didn't quite pull it together, but it was a good attempt.
How are these people role models?
Well, they really help me solve problems. They help anytime I need something. They're just there to help me. They listen to me and give me good advice.
You really seem to respect people close to you. That's great. Do you consider yourself a role model?
I think maybe I'm a role model for some other people. I like to help solve problems. And I talk and I listen. I'm a good listener and I'm a good friend.
That's a really mature behavior. How did you work to help solve the problems? What kinds of problems have you faced?
Well, different problems, like I've talked with them, trying to help them, remain calm or calm down, resolve the problem. Like different problems. There's no specific one problem. There's just like every problem is different, so it will be solved differently. It really depends on the situation, because some problems have to be solved a different way. It doesn't always work out the same way.
Tell me about a specific problem and how you'd work with someone to solve it.
So, for example, if my friend was depressed, somebody in their family died or something, I would try to calm them down and just talk with them and not talk with other people and not let people, let us have one-on-one time and not let anyone intrude so they can be open and express themselves.
Again, there, I had a pretty good lag time, and I had to use closing skills to kind of make it all cohesive and make sense in the end.
Yeah, helping people talk about what's bothering them is really helpful. What's an example of another problem you've helped solve?
We need to go.
Let's see, some other problems, let's see, like,
How long?
there was a friend, was a fight with another friend, an argument, and I liked the other friend. I like them both, so I just had them come over. They won't talk, refuse to talk in front of them, but I was trying to help resolve the issue. So I was like, come on, talk to each other, and I encouraged that.
Wow. You seem to have a special gift for problem solving. Have you considered a career as a psychologist?
A future, me becoming a psychologist? No, I've never thought of that.
Well, I'm sure you'll choose a fulfilling career. Is there any famous person who's had an impact on your life? A favorite deaf person, perhaps?
Let me think. Favorite deaf person, a successful deaf person. Not really have one, but I really like Marley Matlin. Her life's almost like mine. I grew up almost the same life as her. My problems and stuff in her kind of parallel and match hers. I try to express myself with my voice to hearing people. I don't want to feel like I have to, and she talks about the same experience.
That's interesting. Tell me more about how your lives are similar.
So I had the information in that last segment, and I was trying to form good English words as equivalents, and I didn't do terrible, but word choice was a little touchy, but yeah, I had decoded it, and I was just trying to form equivalent English words.
Marley's life, she's deaf, and I am too, but we try to, mesh with the hearing world and make it through and learn to express our own feelings. And sometimes it's frustrating, sometimes, anger and stuff like that, whatever our expressions are.
And again, I was trying to use closing skills there. I didn't do terrible. I think it was good. However, I can see where I was definitely good that I used a little lag time there. Maybe calm my thoughts a little bit and just think about what she said, and that would help me maybe form better English structure.
What are some ways you try to fit into the hearing world?
I try to fit into the hearing world by learning voicing skills better and learning oral skills and also voicing, and I try to fit in that I can fit in fine. I really do enjoy voicing sometimes, but I don't really feel like when I don't feel like voicing, I just prefer signing, and I voice when I feel like it. Some people prefer me voice, some people really don't. So it's just whatever the stress is, that whether I use my voice or whether I sign.
When do you want to use your voice?
Situations like, it just depends. Like, I'm not really good at voicing, but if I feel like voicing, then I'll use my voice. Sometimes I'll use my voice to communicate with hearing people or teach sign language to them.
Is there a situation when you don't want to use your voice?
Well, like in a restaurant, when we go in there, I'd prefer to not use my voice and just write. Because some hearing people don't understand my speech when I use my voice, so I just prefer to, write or have an interpreter.
Thanks so much for sharing your insights with me today. Chatting with you has been a genuine pleasure.